was
So
the neighborhood like?
my neighborhood,
Yeah,
it was
that time.
to me it was amazing. You
Mm,
know, we never did wasn't a lot of killing. Was no killing actually. Just a lot of
mm,
fighting. Um, a lot of friendship, passion, and a lot of my friends, man, were luckily for the time in the '80s. A lot of my friends had the opportunity to grow up and get family, and I'm very proud to say that a lot of my friends from high school and from elementary school have kids and wives and have homes and good jobs. But and I'm also very saddened to say that some of my friends didn't make it, right? Because of some of the choices that they made and because of some of the things they did when they were young, got jammed up with this or whatever, whatever. And I would learn from their mistakes. You know, I was very smart enough to know not to go to jail because my grandpa had told my parents, not just my grandpa, my parents told, boy, you go to jail, boy, you stuck. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, I believe every word because they didn't play, man. Like they really didn't play. I was hard, but they were harder, you know.
mm,
And my neighborhood, to answer your question specifically and directly, my neighborhood was a very active place for blackness, right? I'm from the I'm from the home of civil rights, and that was instilled in me just as much as the foolishness was, right? From Martin Luther King to Maynard Jackson to Ambassador Young to Ali Pat to Hosea Williams to John Lewis. John Lewis stayed across the street from my uncle, so it was that type of influence was on me, and then every year, every New Year in my neighborhood, my auntie Irene, she would bring together all the families for New Year's Day dinner. And I didn't know at the time because I'm a kid. I didn't know that that was a meeting of what was to be for the new Atlanta that we know today. You know what I mean? The Johnsons and the Jacksons and the Cheneys and and the Hatchers. And these were at the time very strong families in Atlanta. And I'm just sitting there watching the football game, eating food. I don't know, man. I'm 9, 10 years old. I don't care about none of that.
mm,
And, I was very close to and very honored to be around such great lineage from such wonderful people. That's my neighborhood. My neighborhood was based around intelligence, gangsterism, and family, which is the gangster part is not per se the same thing, but it was more like we were homeboys and family and all that. So it was really homegrown, real people teaching you everything you need to know, learning from your mistakes. Every neighbor knew every neighbor. If you messed up, you would get back to your parents before you got home. That's my neighborhood. Adamsville, I love it, man. Flatland,
you
beautiful.
could tell by the smile. What was the soundtrack of your life at that time? What was the musical influences then? Because you was already a debater,
Right.
building that
Yeah.
vocabulary.
Right.
So there had to be music
Yeah.
that was the soundtrack to those
Music was
moments.
everything. It was still is. Like when I was a kid, I knew that my love of music was something that I had experienced before I came out of my mother's energy. Right. My mom was an amazing singer that would sing every second and fourth Sunday at church. So she would play music all the time when I was a kid. She would jam to certain grooves all the time when I was a kid. Michael to Stevie to Luther to Freddie Jackson to Cap Calloway to Billie Holiday to you know, and my grandmother then would have like parties and all the time in the basements because you got to realize they come from segregation. They
Mm-hmm.
come from before there was integration and assimilation. So there was a time when it was just black folk
It
coming
was
together.
just us
It
coming
was us
together,
coming together.
having our
That's right.
Right,
own fun.
right. So I'm upstairs. Well, they downstairs drinking peach schnapps and vodka and gin and whatever they drinking, jamming to whatever they jamming to, and it's coming through the floor, the sounds, the energy, the people, and they
Mm-hmm.
dancing. They ain't just sitting around. They dancing. They playing bizwig. They playing spades. They having a good time. So music is everything to me. It's my first love. It's my blood. It's my so the soundtrack for that is just synergy, energy, power, love, structure, intertwining of notes and variables that I feel at all times. That's what the soundtrack is. That's what the soundtrack will always be for me. When I was a kid, I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that feel like until I found what brought it all together was hip hop because it was something that belonged to me and my generation, right? It was
Was
something,
ours.
right? That's what it became very precise and honed in. And I knew it was something that I had to do for the rest of my life. I was a carpenter when I found hip hop. I didn't know what I was going to do in life for real. Like growing up, I never knew. Like when I was a kid, I was very lost because I didn't know what I was going to do in life, right? But I would always hum sounds in my head all the time. I didn't know they were hooks. I didn't know that they were melodies. I didn't know what they were. I thought they were um, just something. I don't know what, just the sounds of my life. And I would just sit all the time. My grandmother would be like, "Well, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh, nothing." And I was just, I'm just humming, right? I'm talking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And then when I found, you know, and it wasn't Rapper's Delight. It wasn't the Great Curtis Blow. It wasn't Sugar Hill Gang. It was Run DMC. When Run DMC, when I found it, when I found them, it was at it was at the Fresh Fest in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if you remember Fresh Fest. You probably y'all do. Y'all at
I
my age.
remember Fresh
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Fest
yeah. Fresh Fest. I forgot, I
86.
forgot who I was talking to. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So Fresh Fest, I found that at Fresh Fest at the Omni in Atlanta. And the first song that was so jamming to me wasn't even them. It was Gladys Knight, and she had a song. Was it Gladys Knight or Shotgun? It was Shotgun. Shotgun. That
Feel
one,
for you.
Feel for You.
Mm-hmm.
And Gladys Knight had one where she had the guys breakdancing in the street here up here in New York. And I forgot the name of the song. Remember the song talking about with Gladys?
I cannot think of it,
Yeah,
but
it
I
was
can visualize the
yeah.
video.
Right,
I
right.
just can't think of it.
It was crazy.
B, you know it. It's gonna come to you,
Oh,
B.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna
it
come to
comes
you
with the video.
because he's pondering on
Yeah,
it.
it was. Anyway, the record was crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Wow, what is this? Oh my God, this is crazy!" And I said to myself, "This is it."
Mm.
I didn't know what it was, but I was like, "This is it."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't for years, man. I would just listen to hip hop, right? Because in Atlanta, there was no music business. There was no conducting of studios. I didn't know what a studio was. I couldn't comprehend what that looked like. I didn't even know if I sound good, period, on rapping. I didn't really know how to, I didn't think about rapping like that. I did every aspect of hip hop before I got to rapping. I was
Mm.
breakdancing, drawing
What
graffiti.
was your signature move? Because we all of us in that generation had a move we thought we really knew how
Right.
to do. Right. All of us had one we thought we knew. I could snake. I could. I could snake out anybody.
Right. Right. Outsnake them.